Thank you for listening to Gone at 21, Katelyn Markham's death investigation. This is Evidentiary Notes. I'm your host, Jay Ryan. Before we start this episode of Evidentiary Notes, if you haven't listened to Introduction 1 and 2, or the first Evidentiary Notes segment, go back and listen to those previously published segments before listening to this episode of Evidentiary Notes. The previous segments were meant to give the big picture of what happened in this case. This Evidentiary Note episode is going to explore what events took place just 24 hours before Katelyn Markham was seen last. The Sacred Heart Festival was in full swing in August of 2011. Sacred Heart Catholic Church puts on the festival each year, usually in August. The festival was within walking distance from Katelyn's townhouse. You could actually see the church from Katelyn's street if you're standing on the corner. On Friday, August 12, 2011, Katelyn and John went to the festival where they were going to meet Katelyn's best friend, Michelle Theist. Michelle was running late that night, and John and Katelyn were already at the festival. Michelle got a text from Katelyn before she arrived about placing a bet. After Michelle arrived at the festival, the three of them spent 20-30 minutes walking around. After they left the festival, they went to John's house and had a bonfire. Here is Michelle describing what happened that night, starting with the text from Katelyn about placing a bet.
She's like, hurry up, like, we're trying to leave, like, I don't want to be here, we just came up here to place a bet. She was not happy about it. And then, we went up there we were only up there, by the time I got there, for maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then we went back to John's house, had a bonfire, smoking, drinking, hanging out.
This was Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday night. She was not happy that night. She was sitting there, not talking, not smiling, staring into the fire. Pissed off. She was mad that he spent like $100 on stupid raffle tickets trying to win this big money to go to Colorado or whatever. And I think she was mad about it. She left early, didn't really say bye to anybody. She just left. John went and took her home, and then John came back. I hung out for a little bit longer, and then I left. And that was the last that I saw of her.
Did John mention about her being upset about that?
No, and I've read that he said that she wasn't mad, which I know is a lie. She was pissed off about the raffle ticket thing. That's all I know for sure.
So we get Katelyn wasn't really in favor of John spending $100 on a raffle ticket from her best friend Michelle, who was there. Now, Michelle told me that a couple months earlier, Katelyn spoke to her about John's spending habits. They were supposed to be saving money to go to Colorado, and John kept spending his money on weed. So I asked Michelle specifically about Friday night. Did Katelyn say she was upset that John bought raffle tickets?
The only time that Katelyn said anything was when John was talking about the raffle tickets, and she was like, the raffle tickets are stupid and you shouldn't have done it. And like, she didn't say anything else the rest of the night. John was just being John and just talking and hanging out, whatever.
So even when you were there, she wasn't talking?
No.
Even to you?
No. She was just sitting there pissed off. And she left pretty early for a Friday night.
John, on the other hand, has a different story. So let's hear what John has to say about that night.
It wasn't a bad time. I mean, she might have been more upset than I thought, but it was fine. Let me take you back a couple days before that.
Okay.
When, right before the festival, Sacred Heart has a sign in front of the church, and on the sign it said $10,000 raffle. Me and Katelyn have been discussing saving money to go to Colorado. My suggestion was, hey, let's put a crap load of money into this thing and maybe we'd get it and we could just go. And, we wouldn't be breaking the bank. We just, if we put in $100 and won $10,000, like that's our trip. That's getting first down payment on our house even.
Right, sure it is.
So she was okay with the idea. Didn't argue with me about it. There was no problems. In fact, when we got to Sacred Heart, when the time came, we were there, she was already aware that I was going to get these raffle tickets. She wasn't upset about the raffle tickets at all. I told her that I was going to do it. It was $100 that I put into it. Not that much money.
Right.
I was a delivery driver. I made $100 in 2 days. That's nothing. She was upset probably because there was nobody there. We had been walking around the whole place, and there was like an occasional person here or there, but no one really close to us or anything. And she, whenever she was in a bad mood, she just was in a bad mood. That's just how she was, and I would, so I tried to cheer her up. I was like, hey, let's get some food. So I bought her some food. We sat at the picnic tables that are next to the food area, and we sat and talked for a minute. And for real, I knew she wasn't upset with me. I think she was just upset in general. It was just an overall gloomy kind of mood.
Just in a bad mood.
Right.
Yeah, all of us go through that.
Right. So, but when we, afterwards, I don't remember every moment. I remember being at the festival. I remember sitting at the table. I remember going back to her house and like hanging out for a bit. There was no argument. There was no fight.
Wait, you went back to her house? Or did you go to your house and have a bonfire? Let's see what happens when John doesn't remember quite how it went down.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I remember she came in and was bringing stuff from the garage that night. She had on a little yellow skirt. And she went to the back door, and I said, are you guys going to have a fire? And she goes, yeah. And you guys
Did we have a fire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't remember.
Well, but no. And I'm just trying to fill in some, because
okay.
it didn't her sister wind up being back at the apartment.
That's right. That's right. Right.
That was Karen Winkler, John's mom, filling him in on what actually happened. Different stories from the same night by two people who were there. Who do you believe? That concludes this episode of Evidentiary Notes number 2. If you like this podcast, like, subscribe, rate, and review in iTunes. This helps the podcast in the directory and attracts new listeners. Episode 1 of the investigation will be coming out February 3rd. I would like to continue this podcast on a weekly basis after Episode 1 comes out. If you would like to help this happen, please donate today. You can support this program by going to Gone at 21, the Facebook page. There you will see a GoFundMe link pinned to the top of the wall. Just press the link, and any amount you're willing to give will be greatly appreciated. Until Friday, February 3rd, this is Jay Ryan. Take care.